Alright, selamat pagi semuanya. Selamat bergabung di acara Digital Festival Best Partner dan Kampung Course, a series of engaging events providing opportunities to study abroad 2020. Nama saya Rian Cipta Julianda dari Best Partner Education akan menemani teman-teman sebagai moderator pada hari ini pada sesi kita yang berjudul yang memiliki judul Decide Where to Study in Australia and New Zealand oleh Bart Strzebonskri dari Mackleay College, Australia. Oke. Nah, selanjutnya pada hari ini Digital Festival Best Partner X Kampung Course 2020 akan ada 6 sesi. Nah, sekarang kita berada di sesi keduanya. Digital Festival Best Partner X Kampung Course ini adalah festival berorientasi pada prospek studi untuk masa depan para pelajar dan pemuda di Indonesia. Festival ini diselenggarakan selama 3 hari dan dimeriahkan oleh para pemateri yang merupakan expert dalam bidangnya masing-masing yang berkaitan dengan beasiswa dan studi luar negeri, serta tentang universitas di 4 benua. Acara ini diselenggarakan dan diinisiasikan atas kerjasama dari Best Partner Education dan Kampung Course. Sponsor kita untuk acara ini adalah First Step, Gudang Lomba, Info Lomba Beasiswa, Info Seminar Online, Webinar Indonesia, Kulwap NSL, Info Seminar Nasional, Event Pontianak. Untuk partner kampus kita, Wusung University, Mackleay College, Study Group, University of Limerick, dan institusi partnership, Mary English, Alvin English, FBSL. Dalam setiap sesi akan ada door prize untuk para peserta yang beruntung. Ya, jadi langsung saja kita ke sesi penyambutan pemateri kita pada hari ini. Hello, Bart, time is yours. The seat is yours now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ryan, and thank you to all your colleagues and all the staff at Best Partner Education for setting this up. Look, you've already introduced me. My name's Bart. I'm from Mackleay College, and I'm very happy to be here today to be able to talk to you about, I guess, why you should consider Mackleay College as one of your study options in the future. And we'll go through our scholarships, courses, where our campuses are located, internships, and then obviously you can ask any questions that you have afterwards. So maybe we can start off by just sharing that screen and bringing up that presentation, if that's possible. So Mackleay College, look, just quickly about me, I came across to Mackleay around 12 months ago, and I'll give you my feedback on the college and what I've really enjoyed about being a part of Mackleay College. And it's a very exciting time for us because at the moment we're going through a difficult time because of COVID-19, but Mackleay College has some very exciting times for the next 3 or 4 years. We'll be launching new campuses in Brisbane and on the Gold Coast, which I'll talk about today as well. But we have some big plans for our international students. So hopefully, as soon as travel is allowed, we'll see some of you guys on campus. But feel free to go to the next slide if that's okay. Welcome to Mackleay. Let's go through this. Yep. So just very quickly, I mean, a couple of reasons why you should consider studying in Australia. So look, I've lived in Australia since I was 12. I came from Poland when I was a young boy, and I've spent most of my time now in Melbourne. Look, I think there are a lot of benefits to going offshore to gain an education. I think in terms of Australia, look, it's a very safe destination. It's one of the top destinations for students globally as well, which means that a lot of students before you have made that choice and have been satisfied with that decision as well. And I guess because of that, we have over 2.5 million alumni that have come through Australian borders to complete their education, whether it's a university degree, whether it's something at a different level. It's a great option for your studies because of the fact that we have 700,000 students in Australia, very multicultural environment, huge Indonesian population as well. We've got some of the top universities in the world as well. It's not too far from home for you to travel as well. Very safe, very livable. I live in Melbourne, so I'm a little bit biased. I think Melbourne is the best city in Australia. If you speak to someone from Sydney or from one of our other cities, they'll probably say that this city is the best to live in. I love Melbourne because it's very, very multicultural. It's got your arts, it's got your theatre, it's got your drama, it's got your sports. You're close to the best beaches in the country and as well as to the mountains. At the moment, if you drive a couple 100 kilometers outside of Melbourne, you can go skiing. So we have some snow in Melbourne too, believe it or not. And also post-study work options make Australia a very kind of interesting destination for a lot of international students because you'd like to come and experience the country, get your education, and stay back and gain some professional experience before you decide what you wish to do. Whether you wish to go back home or whether you wish to stay in Australia for longer term as well. So I guess those points kind of summarize, I guess, in my opinion, why Australia is an option that you should consider if you are looking to study overseas. I think we'll skip that video because I think the connection might not be the greatest. So we'll go to the next slide if we can. So very quickly, for those of you that haven't heard about Mackleay College. So Mackleay College is a smaller college. And I guess the reason why I think it's a good option for international students, it's because you get a much more personalized experience when you come across to Mackleay. So there are pros and cons to going to a big university. There are pros and cons to going to a smaller college like Mackleay as well. And we'll go through those in a moment. But Mackleay has been around for quite a while now. We've been around since 1988, so it's quite a well-established institution here in Australia. It was initially set up as a journalism college, and to this day, we produce some of the best journalists in the countries, and we probably have one of the best, if not the best, journalism courses in Australia. We have a Melbourne campus. We also have a Sydney campus, and we'll be opening up 2 additional campuses, one in Brisbane and one on the Gold Coast later this year and start of next year. Initially a journalism college, but at the moment we also teach different business courses, which I'll go through later on. We also teach advertising and digital media. And later this year, we'll be introducing cybersecurity and aged care as well. So we are looking at introducing more bachelor courses and master's programs later this year. So as I mentioned earlier, it's an exciting time for Mackleay because it's a difficult situation, but we do have some very big plans for where we want the college to be in the next 3 to 4 years. You can go to the next slide, please. Fantastic. So Sydney campus, fantastic location. It's probably a 200-meter walk from Central Station, so it's very conveniently placed, pretty much in the center of the Central Business District in Sydney. So it's very easy to get to by bus or by train. Very picturesque. For those of you that have visited Sydney before, you'll know that it's a huge city. It's kind of the business capital of Australia as well. So for those of you wanting to study something in business or advertising, I think it's a great place to do your degree or any other course that you choose, because it does open up a lot of employment opportunities later on as well. And we also have a Melbourne campus on the next slide, which is also very centrally located. And the Melbourne campus is probably 200 to 300 meters from Flinders Street Station, which is the main train station here in Melbourne. Again, beautiful building. It's a bit smaller than the Sydney campus, but I guess there are benefits to being in a smaller environment as well, because you really get to know your teachers, your classmates, and you get to spend a lot more time with your teachers. So they're the 2 locations. Once we have our new Brisbane campus up and running, which should happen by end of September, and once we have our Gold Coast campus up and running, which will happen in February next year, we'll obviously send that information to you guys, and those will be 2 new options that you can look for your studies for later this year or next year. But I guess the most important part of this presentation, to be honest, will be on the next slide, which highlights kind of the key selling points of Mackleay. So some of the things you see on the screen now, I've already mentioned, but the thing that separates Mackleay from other institutions and other universities, for example, is the fact that we are very, very hands-on. And that was the first thing that I noticed when I came across from my previous employer. And I've worked for some other big universities. The thing that I like the most about Mackleay is that the courses are very relevant, very hands-on, very industry-focused. We don't focus so much on theory, but more on the hands-on practice, which builds up your confidence, and it really gets your skills up to scratch. Employers want you to be job ready when you finish your degree. They want you to have the knowledge and the skills to be able to go into the workforce and be able to contribute from day one. So the theory is extremely important, but the hands-on element, the industry training that we provide you, is something that separates our graduates from other graduates as well. And some of those things, small classes, I'll talk about those a bit later on. They're not very unique. I think a lot of institutions have that these days, which is fantastic, because I think it makes your experience a little bit more personalized. But there are some of the other things that we do like to focus on at Mackleay. But the next slide has the top 8 selling points about Mackleay. So the first one is project-based learning. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have exams at Mackleay, but only in the Bachelor of Accounting. If you're doing something like journalism, advertising, or digital media, or some of our other business specializations, you won't have exams, you'll have a lot more industry-based assessments. And that's because exams are a good tool to check how you're progressing in a course, but that's not the case for every discipline that you're going to study. And I think students benefit a lot more from doing group assignments, group projects, industry-based projects or assignments, just to give them that extra bit of experience to know exactly what to expect when they go into the workforce. So that's one of the things that I noticed when I came across to Mackleay, and I think that's a huge selling point, is that you are going to get a lot of hands-on practical experience. The second point, internships. I think for those of you considering going overseas to study, and obviously you are, that's why you're logging into today's presentations, any internships, any hands-on experience that you can get will look fantastic on your resume. At Mackleay, I'll go into detail about our internships in a moment, but all of our courses, whether you do a diploma or a bachelor's course, you will get a hands-on component as part of that program. So you will have an internship, and that's guaranteed for all of our students. Now, the third point on this slide is about industry lecturers. All of our lecturers, obviously they teach at Mackleay, but they're also actively involved in whatever industry they're teaching. So they're not full-time teachers. They have the sessional teachers, which means that they teach for each trimester. They may do 1 or 2 or 3 units, but outside of that, they also have jobs in the industry. So if it's accounting, they might have their own accounting business. If they're teaching advertising or digital media, they may be working for a company or running their own business on the side. And I think that's a huge benefit to you, because you'll be learning from people that are actively involved in that industry. They know exactly what's expected. They know exactly what the job prospects are. They know those extra little things here and there that you need to know to be successful in the industry. And the knowledge that you're getting is from people that are up to date in terms of what's expected of graduates in the industry. So I think that's extremely important for you to keep in mind, is that they're not full-time academics. They're academics, but they're also involved in the industry professionally outside of Mackleay as well. Now, point number 4, very straightforward, career connections. And that goes together with industry lecturers a little bit, I guess, and internships. Because we have such a big hands-on practical component at Mackleay, we've had a lot of our lecturers be able to assist our students with getting part-time or casual full-time employment during the course or after they finish the course, especially in things like advertising or digital media or journalism. So we're able to assist students in finding employment, in meeting people in the industry and opening up those doors for them. So those are the first 4 points, and we've got another 4 points on this slide to go through. Small classes. Again, I mentioned that earlier. A lot of institutions have smaller classes, so it's not a unique selling point, but I think it's very important, because when you come across from another country, this can make your transition a little bit easier, because you'll get to spend more time with your teachers. You get to ask them more questions. The teachers get to know your strengths and weaknesses, and they can help you better as well, because they'll know exactly what areas you might need a little bit more assistance in, which areas you're already very strong at. So I think it can only be another benefit to you, because you will get a lot more value for your investment, because you will spend a lot more time with your lecturers. Our classes don't have any more students than 20 to 25 maximum, and that's only for a select number of subjects. Most of the time we'll have 10 to 12 students in each classroom. We don't have huge lecture theaters where you're going to be one of 300 or 400 students. And again, there are benefits to being at a big university, and there are benefits to being at a smaller college. And it becomes a bit of a personal choice. It depends on what type of experience you're after. So that's the small classes. Flexible timetable. So when you come across from a different country, I guess you need a bit of flexibility with your kind of work, life, and study balance as well, because you are coming across to study. That's your priority. That's your main objective. But you also want to have a bit of a balance there as well in your life. And all of our students are able to arrange their full-time timetable so that they're only on campus between 2 to 3 days. That leaves you a little bit more time, whether it's for employment, whether it's to pursue other interests that you have. It could be that you play a specific sport, or you like to act, or you play a musical instrument, whatever you like to do, or just spend time with friends exploring Melbourne or Sydney. I think having that flexible timetable gives you that kind of work-life study balance that you need as an international student. Now, the next point involves guest speakers. So this one's quite an interesting one. And again, when I came across to Mackleay, I noticed that on a weekly basis, we have different guest speakers on campus. Being online, it's a little bit different now because we're not on campus because of COVID-19. We have kind of got into more remote online learning for the last trimester, and we'll probably be teaching online until start of next year, like a lot of other institutions. But we have a lot of different guest speakers coming back on campus to speak to our current students. And those may be previous Mackleay students. They can be people from outside of Mackleay. We have a lot of fantastic journalists coming in. We've had people that have graduated from an advertising degree that have come back and spoken to our students about different demands of the industry and what the job prospects are. But it's a great opportunity for students to connect with people in the industry. And again, it can open up a lot of doors for our students. So it's kind of building them up towards when they finish their journey at Mackleay and when they're ready to apply for the first job. And the final one is, again, it's one that we've spoken about already, personalized approach. So when you attend a smaller college like Mackleay, which has around 500 to 600 students across the 2 campuses, you really get to know your teachers, you get to know your student support team, you get to know the student representative council, you get to know your marketing team like myself, admissions team, and we get to know you as well. So it's more of a, it's an old cliche, but it's more of a kind of a family atmosphere, family feel. And some students prefer that. They want to be able to know everyone on campus much more personalized. They want to get to know people a little bit more, whereas that's a little bit harder to do when you're at a big university. So that's one of the benefits of coming to a provider like Mackleay College. So those are the kind of the 8 key selling points that I'd like you to remember when you're thinking about Mackleay. Now, the next slide talks about some of our guest speakers. So I just want to show you one example. So because we have gone online, we still have guest speakers coming on campus. And this particular guest speaker was Maria Rissa. She's a very famous journalist. She was named Person of the Year by Time magazine a little while back. We were lucky enough to be able to get her to come online and speak to, and she spoke to all of our journalism students about where the journalism industry is heading to, where she sees the obstacles are in becoming a journalism or the trends in journalism. So it's a bit of an example of the really high level people that we'll be able to bring across to Mackleay to speak to our students. And it's a huge benefit to you to be able to network and be able to ask questions to some of these people that do come on campus. Now, the next slide, we'll talk about some of our internships, which is, again, a huge benefit to you. So if we go to the next slide, it will show you exactly how many hours you're going to do in your internship. So if you come across to do one of our bachelor courses, you'll do 170 hours. If you come across into one of our diploma courses, you'll do 80 hours. And it's not just an internship. We'll help you develop your resume. We'll help you develop your LinkedIn profile. We'll do some practice interviews. We'll have a chat to you about what career path you wish to take, because that will depend on what type of an internship you're going to do. For example, if you're doing one of our advertising courses and you'd like to work for a sports organization, then we'll try to get you an internship in a sports organization so you can build up towards that experience. So it's kind of it's not just 170 hours that you're going to do. There are other things attached to this internship. Internships are not paid. It's part of the curriculum. The internships are standalone subjects, which I'll show you a little bit later on. But again, it's a huge benefit to you because it will build up your confidence. You'll get to experience what happens in the industry, and it's something you can put on your resume as well. And it does open up a lot of doors for you as well. And on the next slide, you'll be able to see a couple of examples of places where we've been able to send our students to for internships. For those of you that might recognize some of these brands, some of them are media agencies, Channel 7, for example, Channel 10. You've got NAB, which is one of the big banks in Australia. A couple of journalism, couple of media outlets, radio stations. So again, it just depends on what course you're interested in doing. Now, the next slide talks about scholarships. So at the moment at Mackleay, we have scholarships for all of our students. So any student that comes across to Mackleay will be able to get a bachelor scholarship or a diploma scholarships. And on the next slide, you'll see the exact total of how much the scholarships are. So if you're coming to a bachelor's course, you're eligible for an $18,000 scholarship, which is a $6,000 per year scholarship. Now, there's nothing that you have to do to apply for the scholarship. All scholarships are assessed when you apply to study at Mackleay. And once you get the scholarship, you'll keep the scholarship for the duration of your degree. So you don't have to keep a specific GPA to keep the scholarship. Once you get the scholarship, that's your scholarship for the entire duration of your studies. And I'll show you how much the scholarship reduces the price per subject and per course in a moment. We have some diploma scholarships as well. So there's a $6,000 scholarship for diploma courses, and there's a slightly lower one for accounting. And on the next slide, I just wanted to show you, we've got a bit of a, I guess because we're in a very interesting situation at the moment with COVID-19, on the next slide, you'll be able to see that we've got a bit of a special promotion going for September students. So at the moment, borders are closed. As you can see, I'm working from home. I'm in my study at my house. You may see one of my kids coming in a moment. They're homeschooling as well. So from time to time, they tend to come in and interrupt my meetings, which is a bit of fun. But we are teaching online, and we have taught online for the last trimester. And our next trimester commences on the 14th of September. So at the moment, what we're doing is we are reducing our fee per unit to $1,800 per unit for the entire time while we're studying online. So if any of you are interested in studying online, you can definitely start with us, and we'll be able to reduce that fee for you down the track. So that covers that part of the presentation, and now we'll just move on to our courses as well. So we have three faculties at Mackleay. There's a faculty of journalism, business, and advertising and digital media. So on the next slide, you'll get to meet Glenn Fraser, who's the head of faculty. And very quickly, Glenn has worked for over 35 years in the media and advertising agency for some huge advertising agencies around the world, Saatchi & Saatchi, Havas, JWT London, as you can see there. So gives you a bit of an example of the types of people that we've been able to employ at Mackleay. And Glenn has brought all that experience into the curriculum here at Mackleay. And I guess there are two flagship courses that we teach at Mackleay. And the first one on the next slide is Bachelor of Digital Media. So I guess with what's happening with COVID-19 at the moment, there's going to be a huge push for students to have digital media qualifications, whether it's multimedia specialists, online marketing, social media marketing, similar to what we're doing at the moment. We're online promoting our courses to you. There's no getting away from it. And the current situation is probably going to accelerate this a lot more. So a Bachelor of Digital Media is a 3-year degree that you complete. The fee for it is $3,000 per subject, but with the scholarship, it's reduced to $2,250. And I guess because we are teaching online, you can further reduce that to $1,800 per unit starting in September. Again, just wanted to show you the course structure. So you've got different specializations. We have internships as part of the course. We have electives. And the main specialization streams that you can focus on include content writing, content creation, coding and analytics, user experience design. It could be digital entrepreneurship. I guess digital and social media marketing will probably be the main ones. So this is a great degree because digital media is going to be in very, very high demand over the next 3 to 4 years. And I think it's going to be accelerated because of what's happening at the moment with a lot of countries, a lot of closing borders, with a lot of companies moving to a much more online presence. So I think this area will definitely be one of the areas of growth over the coming years. We also have a diploma in this course as well on the next slide. There's a diploma of digital media, and this one is pretty much for students that maybe are not quite ready to go into the bachelor's course. They can commence in a diploma, and then you can finish with the diploma, or you can progress to the bachelor course, and you will get credit for what you've done. So all the 12 units that you complete as part of the diploma, you'll be able to get credit towards those, which means you've only got another 12 credits to do, 12 units, I should say, before you get your bachelor's degree. The next course that we have is probably a Bachelor of Advertising and Media at Mackleay, and that's on the next slide. And this one's a little bit different because it's a combination of your media studies and advertising. Now, Glenn Fraser, who's the head of faculty that I introduced you to earlier, that's where his expertise lies. So he's got a huge reputation, and he's got a lot of experience when it comes to advertising. And he's kind of stamped his authority on this course a little bit. He's been able to make changes to it, make changes to the subjects to reflect what's expected of graduates when they go into an advertising field. And again, same course fee per unit. You've got the scholarship, which will bring it down to $2,250. And for September enrollment, we're dropping that to $1,800 per unit as well. Again, quite a few different electives that you can choose from. You can see the internships, which are in second and third year. So you'll do your theory in first year, and then in second and third year is when you do most of your electives and your internship component as well. And you'll do 2 of those. So usually the internships are broken up into two different sections as well. And on the next slide, I'll show you some of the electives that you can choose as well. Oh, sorry, I took that out by the look of it. We've got a diploma course as well. And this one is very similar to the one I showed you earlier. So this one is for students that maybe are not quite ready to go into the bachelor's course. They can come into the diploma, which usually has slightly lower entry requirements, whether it's the English level or the academic background. And once you finish that, you can progress into the bachelor course and you'll get credit for your studies as well. And we have a couple of other diplomas in the faculty as well. So we have another diploma on the next slide, which is our diploma of user experience design. And I guess user experience, it's a new field, but it's a very important field because it goes hand in hand with digital media and advertising. It's all about how your customers, what kind of an experience they have when they use your digital platforms. It could be your social media platforms. It could be an application that they're using. So the diploma of user experience gets you ready to making sure that all the processes that include the customer journey or the customer application, whatever you're focusing on, that your customers are getting the best experience possible when they are interacting with you using your digital platforms. Again, this can be a pathway into one of our bachelor courses. It's a standalone program as well. And this one is an 8-unit diploma course that we teach. And the final one that we have on the next slide is a diploma of digital and social media marketing, I should say. And again, for those of you that have a pure interest in social media marketing, so using things like Facebook, whatever you want to use for your advertising, it could be running online campaigns, it could be using different apps to advertise, whatever you're interested in the social media platform, this is a great diploma because it's only 8 units, but it gives you the foundation knowledge that you need to be able to get employment in that industry. And again, it can be a pathway into one of our bachelor courses later on. Now, the next faculty that we have is the Faculty of Business. Oh, sorry, I'll mention this quickly too. If you could just go back to the slide area. So the one subject that I wanted to mention that we teach in the bachelor's courses is called the pitch. And the pitch takes place in the 3rd year of our bachelor's courses. And it's probably one of the most fun subjects we teach at Mackleay because it's an opportunity for students to actually, as the name suggests, pitch for a particular project for a company. So what students do is they have to make a proposal, and it's all obviously pretend, it's done on campus. But what they have to do is they have to put together a pitching strategy for a new campaign. They have to put together the budget. They have to put together the presentation in a group, and it's kind of a hands-on industry project that they have to do. But it's great fun because they work in a group. The whole campus pretty much stops to watch the pitch take place. As you can see, it's quite a fun day. Students, we have prizes for the students as well. They get trophies, they get certificates. But it's got a very serious component and element to it as well, because it does provide students with that extra insight into what it's like to make an actual pitch when you're for a company, for a specific project, for an advertising campaign. And they get to put all the theory that they've learned in the first 2 years into practice. And they also get to put into theory all that experience, all the hands-on experience that they've learned as well. So, and I just wanted to show you a bit of an image of what it actually looks like. And you can see a couple of our students being awarded prizes on the day of the pitch. But moving on to the next slide, which is the Faculty of Business. And on the next slide, you'll get to meet Riyad, who is the head of faculty as well. So Riyad has quite a lot of experience working for different providers based at the Sydney campus. And again, Riyad is obviously a qualified accountant. He's a chartered accountant, and he coordinates all of our bachelor courses and all of our diploma courses. And I guess if we move on to the next slide, the main course that we teach in the faculty is the Bachelor of Business. And the Bachelor of Business is kind of our bread and butter. It's a 24-unit degree, $3,000 per unit. You're going to get the scholarship, which drops it down to $2,250. And again, for September enrollments, that's being dropped down to $1,800 as well. Now, this course is very flexible because it's up to you to decide what kind of a major, what kind of a specialization you want to walk away with. So as you can see by the course structure, you've got your introduction to business subjects like business accounting, you've got some compliance subjects, management fundamentals, foundations of marketing. So you get a bit of a taste of the different specializations in business before you pick a specific one. We have electives as well that you can pick, and those electives can be from different areas at Mackleay. And on the next slide, you will see the electives and specializations. So as you can see that there are 6 specializations at Mackleay that you can choose from. There's event management, public relations, travel and tourism, sports business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. So those are the 6 specializations you can choose from. And you can also choose electives, and those can be other business units, they can be digital media or advertising and media units, if you'd like something different from outside of your faculty. So that's the Bachelor of Business. On the next slide, we'll have a pathway program. So again, this is a diploma of business, and again, this is for students that perhaps may not have the grades or may not have the English requirement to go into the bachelor course directly. They can commence in the diploma, and once they finish, they can progress into the bachelor course. But those 12 units, you will get credit for those if you choose to go into the bachelor's degree when you finish this one as well. Now, the next one that we have is our accounting program. So this is the only course at Mackleay that has exams, and we have to have exams in accounting because this is part of the registration requirement. So it's fully accredited by CPA Australia, by chartered accountants as well. So when you walk away with this degree, you'll be able to work as an accountant. Not as much flexibility in this one as you get in the Bachelor of Business because of the fact that you already have your specialization here, which is accounting. So you still get to choose some electives, but only two electives as part of this 24-unit bachelor's course. And you still get that internship experience as well, as you can see in your 2nd and 3rd year. But this is obviously for you if you have that specific focus on accounting, and that's what you wish to do when you finish your degree. Now, there is also a pathway program to this one on the next slide, which is a diploma program. Just electives as well. So those 2 electives that you can choose electives from the other specializations. So the 2 electives can come from event management, public relations, travel and tourism, sports business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. And on the next slide, we have the pathway program. So there's a diploma of accounting as well. Again, if you're not quite ready to go into the bachelor's course, you can come through the diploma, and then you can get credit when you go into your bachelor's degree. So that's the business ones. And there is one more. There's a diploma of marketing that we offer. And again, it's a 12-unit diploma. If you're not ready for the bachelor's course, come for the diploma program. You'll still do the same subjects. You'll get the same experience. You'll still do an internship, which I think is a great benefit to you when you do something at a diploma level. And if you decide that you'd like to go into the bachelor's course, you will get credit for all of those subjects as well. So that covers the Faculty of Business. And the final one that we have is the Faculty of Journalism, which is what Mackleay was kind of famous for initially. And Fiona West, on the next slide, is the head of faculty. And Fiona has a lot of experience. She's got over 25 years of experience working as a journalist in various forms of media. It's definitely where, I guess, what Mackleay has always been famous for journalism. Journalism is a funny one because a lot of students think that there aren't any jobs in journalism, which actually isn't true. Journalism has just changed and it's evolved. It's moving away from print media to a much more of a digital focus. And one of the things we do at Mackleay is we get students working as journalists from day one. So it's a very hands-on course. I remember when I first started at Mackleay, it was probably my 2nd or 3rd week, but we had a couple of our journalism students in the classroom, and something was happening in the city, and our lecturer literally said, "Pack up your books, go out and cover the story, get some experience right now, and then come back and we'll talk about it." So what we do is we have that hands-on focus where, in order for you to be a successful journalist, you've got to get as much experience as possible, whether it's working in a digital studio, whether it's doing podcasting, whether it's doing photojournalism, whatever you're interested in, we'll try to give you that experience. And on the next slide, you will see something that we're very, very proud of, and that's Hatch. And Hatch, if you go onto the Mackleay website, you'll be able to access this, but this is the student publication that we run at the college. And it's won quite a few different awards over the last couple of years. It was voted the best publication out of any institution in the country. We've had a number of our students this year and last year be published in the major newspapers in the country as well, which is fantastic. It's not easy to be published in a big newspaper in Australia. And for our students to be able to have their articles published is, I think, a great indication of the type of quality content that our students produce. But this is a great student publication, and it's just an example of the type of content that we produce at Mackleay. So if you have any interest in journalism, I definitely encourage you to have a look at that link when you jump on the Mackleay website. Now on the next slide, I'll show you the bachelor's course. So we have a 3-year Bachelor of Journalism, again 24 unit. It's the same fee structure with that additional discount for the September intake. And if you have a look at the subjects, we focus on video journalism, mobile journalism, we do data journalism, we do some research, we do ethics, we do radio journalism, you do news photography. So because journalism is changing all the time, we want our students to have a very diverse set of skills. So we focus on different elements of journalism. We have electives, we have internships, we have newsroom as well, which is where you produce articles that potentially can be published in major newspapers, whether they're online or print in Australia. So again, you get a lot of hands-on in this program. And on the next slide, we'll just show you very quickly some of the different electives that you can choose from. So I guess if you have an interest in podcasting, if you like business journalism or sports journalism, which is very popular in Australia at the moment, you can choose electives and have a specific focus in that area. And there is a pathway to this program as well on the next slide, which is the Diploma of Journalism. And again, it's a 12-unit diploma, and it's a standalone program. And a lot of our students start in the diploma because they're able to get jobs after they finish the diploma program. And the whole purpose of doing a course is to get a job when you finish. So a lot of our students will get a job when they finish the diploma, and they'll come back a little bit later on to finish the bachelor's course down the track. But if you can get a job after finishing 12 units in a Diploma of Journalism, we always encourage you to take up that job, because you can always finish your final 12 units in the bachelor course a little bit down the track. But that covers all of our courses. I think our final slide is about the links, unless we've taken that out. I think that's it, guys. So I was trying to keep it to that half an hour. So I apologize if I was going a little bit quickly through the slides. But the one thing that I'd like you to remember is that Mackleay is a very, very hands-on college, and we'll get to know you personally because we're a smaller college. We'll get to know your strengths. We'll help you to develop your weaknesses. We'll get to know you well. You'll get to know us. But you will walk away with very practical hands-on experience, which is of huge benefit to you when you're applying for your first job.
Mm-hmm.
How was that, Ryan?
Yeah, well, excellent work. Okay, excellent work, Bart. All right. So it's an incredible explanation, yeah, for the Mackleay College, right? So we can say that this college is very hands-on, yeah, very industrial focus, as well as the flexible timetable as well. This is something that the students are looking for, definitely flexible timetable. And then you have, other than, the lecturer who working in the Mackleay College, you also have the guest speaker as well. Yeah, that provides online teaching, and also providing online teaching during COVID-19. I like the personalized approach as well that you guys implement. It's very cool. Other than that, you have this. Okay, this is really interesting. Project-based learning focus, practical curriculum, I would say. Yeah, so that's the things that we can take from the Mackleay College. Basically, it's hands-on, really industrial focused college that really answer your your educational needs, especially in terms of the current age of 2020 right now. Okay, then everybody.
Absolutely.
So now we are entering the Q&A session. Okay, we are entering our Q&A session. Are you ready, Bart?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, right. So everyone, jadi untuk para penonton kita yang setia pada hari ini, silakan untuk masukkan komen di pertanyaan di komen di YouTube kita. Tolong memberikan pertanyaan yang menarik dan juga pertanyaan yang sangat-sangat kalian ingin ketahui dari Bart Strzebonskri ini dari Mackleay College. Okay. All right.
And the one thing that I wanted to mention too, Ryan, quickly is a lot of because of what's happening at the moment with COVID-19, one of the things that we are doing is we're looking at different strategies for different countries for 2021. And the prices that I've shown you are all going to change for next year. So I guess for those of you that are researching for 2021 and you're looking at perhaps coming down and studying when borders open up next year, whether it's March or April, a lot of those prices that I showed you will change. So we haven't confirmed just yet, but we will have a lot of our new course fees confirmed in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So if you do have an interest in coming to Mackleay, get in touch with the team at Best Partner Education, and they'll be able to update you on some of our new course fees, because as soon as they're confirmed, we'll send them across to you guys.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Bart, we have a couple of questions here. So we'll ask our lucky participants. So questions from. Okay. So questions from Melati Faya. Okay, Melati Faya here. Okay. What course are you majoring in, and why did you choose that major? Thanks before, sir. So you're.
Is that for me personally?
Yeah,
I'll tell you about me. So I went to La Trobe University, which is based in Melbourne, a long time ago. I had a lot more hair when I did my course. I'm a little bit older now, but I did business. So I majored in marketing and management. After that, I did a diploma of journalism because I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to write a little bit. And I guess this is why I have a bit of a connection with Mackleay, because of the fact that they have such a strong reputation for journalism. And at the moment, I'm doing a Master's of International Marketing as well. So I'm kind of halfway through. I've got a little bit more to go, but I'm slowly getting there. The advice that I can give you is to do as much research as possible when it comes to what you wish to study. So all of you will have different interests at the moment. It could be business, could be engineering, could be cybersecurity, digital media. So focus on something that you like. Don't focus on a university or an institution to begin with. Find something that you're interested in, and then you'll be able to find a specific niche for that particular area. Have a look at different jobs as well. Study the different trends, because there are some jobs that will be in higher demand, obviously, in the coming years. For example, in Australia at the moment, jobs in health are very popular because we have an aging population in Australia. So there's a huge demand for nurses, for people in the healthcare industry, whether it's public health. Cybersecurity is quite huge. Anything in digital media and advertising, which we've talked about today, is going to grow as well, because a lot of companies are going to be investing a lot more money to advertise online and have different processes online. So I guess the only thing I can say is do as much research as you can. Speak to the guys at Best Partner Education, speak to family members, do your research online, and get as much information as you can before you make your decision.
Okay. Okay, excellent. All right, so I hope that for Melati, it can answer your question, yeah? All right, so, okay, last one. Okay, we have an interesting one. Okay, so from Iwayan Usada, I have an interest in education. So what major do you recommend for me? Thank you.
So we don't teach education. So with that one, I can't help you. Education is a great one because, again, lots of job security. My wife's actually a teacher as well. So there's always job security in education. Education, I can't help you too much because it's not one of the courses we teach at Mackleay. But from my experience in the higher education sector, it is a good choice, especially if you are looking at coming across to Australia, because it does provide you with some good post-study work opportunities as well. And there's no shortage of jobs when it comes to the education sector. So it does provide you with quite a lot of security as well.
All right, so thanks very much, Bart. I hope that it can answer your question, Iwayan Usada. All right, so we're coming to the end of our session today. Yeah, so sorry guys, we cannot accept all of your questions to Bart here. So the point is that Mackleay College has very interesting courses that are really hands-on and also industrial focus. With a lot of, and also if you guys are really interested with the journalism, I think that Mackleay College is the best one for you guys to learn. Yeah, and and also guys, we can also see that in Mackleay College as well, they provide a scholarship for you. So this is also a good opportunity for you guys to to study in Australia, and so especially in Mackleay College with a really reasonable price that will help you in terms of reducing the costs and then you can just focus with your study and do the best in your education over there. Yeah. Okay. So, by the way, thank you very much, Bart, for your time. Yeah. Thank you very much for the wonderful explanation over the Mackleay College. And then don't forget to visit Best Partner Education for more information regarding to the Mackleay College. And my name is Ren Cipta Julianda as the moderator. And thank you very much for following our session. And have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Ryan. Cheers.